Well, hey there, and welcome to the church video series from Pro Church Tools. My name is Brady, and in the next 3 lessons, we'll be talking about lighting and how to use it for your videos. And make sure that you stay around to the end of this lesson because I'll be sharing the best lighting kit for your church. Thus far in this series of video training, I've made several mentions to things that will take your video quality to the next level. However, some of these things aren't always in our control. We're not always playing on a level playing field. Your camera might not have the same capabilities as someone else's, but that does not mean that you still cannot shoot amazing quality videos. In fact, Hollywood feature films like The Act of Valor have been shot on Canon DSLRs. In the end, it's more about you and your creativity than any amount of gear or equipment that you have, and never has this been more true than with lighting. And using lighting is one of the things that you and I can use to level the playing field and take our videos to that next level of quality. Cinematographers like to call themselves shapers of light, and that's because lighting is what brings personality, character, and emotion to your shots. Without lighting, all of your shots will be bland. Light is the fundamental tool that you and I will use in shaping every one of our shots. And in the next couple of lessons, I'll be sharing a bunch of lighting techniques that you and I can use to properly light our scenes and make awesome videos. But before we get there, we need to understand a bit more about lighting. We can't properly use it until we understand some of the characteristics and what light we're even using. So in this lesson, I'll be sharing the 3 most important things that you need to know about light to properly use it. Important thing to know number 1, temperature. The most important thing that you need to know about lighting is that not all lights are created equal, and that first varying characteristic of each light is the color and the temperature. The color temperature. Lights can be found in a wide spectrum of colors. And no, I'm not talking about the sweet stage lights, LEDs that you have at your church. I'm talking about color temperature. I'm talking about what you and I would consider white light, fluorescent lighting, light bulbs, the sun, things like these. They all have different color temperatures, and while they're all white light, some are more red and some are more blue. And when we're using lights, we want to use lights with the same color temperature. So right now for this shoot, I'm using 3 different lights that are all color balanced at 5600 K, which is 5600 Kelvin, which is how color temperature is measured. And this is the color temperature for daylight. Of course, there are times to break this uniform rule, but using lights of different colors and putting them together creates some very, very ugly shades. It's like mixing a bunch of different colors of paint together. You get that kind of nasty grayish brown thing. That's what mixing color temperature will sometimes result in. So when you're using lights, be aware of the color temperature and make sure that all the lighting you're using is the same. And as you get better at this, you'll be able to identify certain lights just by looking at them. Important thing to know number 2, hard light versus soft light. The second important thing that you need to know about lighting is that lights vary in strength. And I'm not talking about brightness, but I'm talking about hard light versus soft light. On the one end of the spectrum, we have something like a spotlight, a light that shoots a beam of light that illuminates a certain area, in this case a circle, and creates harsh shadows everywhere else. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have lights that have been diffused and are now soft. So for this shoot that I'm doing right now, I have one main key light, and that key light has a softbox on it, or what's called a diffusion filter. And then what that does is it takes the harsh single beam of light and it diffuses it so that the light spreads evenly in all directions. We'll talk more about this in a later lesson, but what you need to know now is that for the most part, you want to be using soft, diffused light because it creates a flattering look on the faces of your subject because it doesn't create harsh shadows around problematic areas. So, soft light, that's what you want. Important thing to know number 3, what format of light is this? Lights have different color temperatures, they vary in the amount of strength, and they come in different formats. For video purposes, we need continuous lighting, not strobe or flash lighting, which is used a lot in photography. And for what we need, there are 3 different types of light that we could use: tungsten lighting, fluorescent lighting, or LED lighting. So let's take a brief look at an overview of each. The first type of lighting, tungsten lighting. Tungsten lighting is the grandfather of all video lighting. Before all the new and hip ways of lighting came onto the market, tungsten lighting was what was used for all videos and movies. The positive of tungsten lighting is that they are widely available and they're strong and powerful lights. The negatives of tungsten lighting is that they run excessively and exceedingly hot. So if you're doing an interview style shoot, something like this, and you have 3 different lights on your subject, it's very likely that they will begin to sweat beads of perspiration during your shoot, and nobody wants that. Also, there have been times, there have been many times where I've been taking down tungsten lights after a shoot prematurely, and instead of waiting the appropriate time for them to cool down, I have burnt myself. Also, tungsten color temperature isn't daylight balanced at 5600 K. The color temperature of tungsten lighting is about 3200 K or 3200 Kelvin, and this can cause problem with mixed lighting and mixed color temperatures like we talked about earlier. The second type of lighting is fluorescent lighting. The second type of lighting that we could use for our video shoots is fluorescent lighting. Fluorescent lighting is daylight balanced, and in the last little while has become a very popular alternative to tungsten lights. In fact, the very first lighting system that I used for my videos was a fluorescent lighting kit. The positives of fluorescent lighting are that they are inexpensive, they don't get too hot, so I won't burn myself, and they generally produce very soft and flattering light, which is what we want, soft light. On the negative side though, fluorescent lights aren't as bright as tungsten lights. So for a tungsten light that might need only 1 bulb, to compensate for this, a fluorescent fixture might need 4 different bulbs. So this can sometimes cause bulk and size issues. And the third type of lighting, LED. Finally, we have LED lighting. LED lighting is what I currently use for all my video lighting needs and is really the next big wave in video lighting. The positives of LED lighting are that they don't draw very much power, and so that means that they can often run on batteries, which makes them very, very portable. I used to have to drag my fluorescent lights into the middle of a field with maybe a power supply or a very, very long power cord, but now I can just plug a battery into my LED lights and they can go with me wherever I want. Also, LED lights, most of them actually have a dimmer switch on them, so you can customize the amount of brightness. You don't have to just be set with the amount of bulbs on or off. You can actually change them. Also, the LED bulbs themselves last a very, very long time. They have a very big lifespan, and so you're not replacing them that often, which is also good. The biggest negative of LED lights, for us anyways, are that they are expensive. Now, they have been getting less and less expensive as they become more popular, but even my 3-piece lighting kit, which was a bargain, cost $1,000. So to recap, these are the 3 characteristics that you need to consider when you're lighting your video scenes. Number 1, what are the color temperatures of the lighting that I'm using? Number 2, am I using hard light or soft light? And if I am using hard light, how can I make it soft or diffuse it? And number 3, what format of lights am I using? Is this tungsten, LED, is it fluorescent? Which one? Finally, if you're interested in getting a lighting kit, if this is your first one, I highly suggest and recommend one of the bargain fluorescent kits on Amazon.com. This is the first lighting kit that my church used. Just go to Amazon.com, type in lighting kit, and you'll get a vast array of choices that you can select from. You can expect to pay between $100 and $200, maybe even $300, which is extremely inexpensive, which is great. And the second thing is, once you get them, you know, it's your first kit, you can try them out, see how it works, and if you break one, it's really not a big deal because it was so cheap in the first place. And they're extremely high quality for what we're doing. When I use them, I absolutely love them. And if your church is looking to upgrade their current lighting kit, I just did that with a new LED lighting kit from F&V Lighting. Great LED lighting kit, plus it comes with a sweet carrying case as well. Well, that's all for this lesson of the church video series. In the next lesson, we'll be learning all about 3-point lighting, the fundamental lighting technique, and how to use it to light every single scene ever. So that's going to be fun. Hey, and if you haven't visited ProChurchTools.com and become a subscriber, make sure you do that. You get a Pro Church Toolkit when you subscribe, ebooks, videos, and a 10-part course on church media. So make sure you go do that, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.